Alrighty, as usual, Jared. Take a quick swig. We got to stay hydrated out there.
Yeah.
We do tell that to our listeners. We got to practice what we preach,
Although I tell the listeners, don't use plastic water bottles like Chad does.
That's fair. I'm killing the environment. It's all my fault, folks. You can blame me. I'm driving a pickup truck, so I'm burning all these fossil fuels.
I have a glass of water is what I'm showing
There you
Chad.
go.
A glass.
See, Jared's an adult. I'm still kind of trapped in this. When you work in academia, you try to stay a college student as long as you can. Although a college
Plastic water
student,
bottles is a college student
no,
thing?
you're right. You'd have like the
Hydro flask. That's what the cool kids have
That's
these
true.
days.
Or you'd have like a Nalgene with like your college logo on it or something like that.
I think I think especially kids younger than us these days would probably promote not using plastic water bottles. I don't think that's. I think
Right.
Yeah, they have. I think the hydro flasks are the cool ones. That's what the cool people have, like the giant hydro flasks.
Oh, for sure.
Those are the cool water bottles these days.
Right.
You know, I tried to. No, I'm not going to say it.
Say it. I'm curious. You got to say it.
I tried to. I tried to shoplift the hydro flask from Whole Foods a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, now I see why you didn't want to say that. Oh, that's hilarious.
But I got caught, so I didn't get it.
That's fair. That reminds me of this crazy video I saw, Jared. I forget what it was, but it was like a YouTube compilation of like basically like stupid people, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like a fail compilation or something like that. And this lady went up to this guy. She was at like a convenience store or like a gas station or something, and she like put one of those, those little like they're like little like bubble cocktail things. It looks almost like a circle. Have you ever seen those things before?
Bubble cocktail? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
They're
so
like
she
a cocktail you buy from a gas station kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like a circle instead of like a regular, can. It's like a circle or like a bubble. Well, she put a couple of those in her purse. Then apparently she asked the guy like, "Where's the Chardonnay?" He pointed it out to her. She snuck another one in her purse, and then she went to the bathroom and drank all three of them. Yeah, I don't know what goes through some people's minds, but
stealing is fun, Sometimes you just gotta scratch an itch,
I think the only thing I've ever stolen when I was a kid, I stole like a pack of gum. And we, of course, we got to the car. My mom saw it and made me take it back in.
Damn. Stuck with you.
Yeah. All these years later.
I don't steal often, just to be clear. That's not my thing. The last time I did try to steal this hydro flask, though. I definitely did. The last time I stole something was when I lived in Philadelphia. So this was at least 3 years ago. Probably a little bit more than that because I was there for 4 years. So anywhere between 3 and 7 years ago. I went to a Wawa, and
it's like a sandwich shop, isn't it?
It's not a sandwich.
It's
it's
like
like
a grocery store.
It's like a convenience store, and they have like
a 7-Eleven.
A 7-Eleven with a better food selection.
Okay.
Like sandwich food selection. But they have more than sandwiches. But that's sort of hoagies. That's sort of a Philadelphia thing.
Right. Sure.
Anyway. So I bought a smoothie, which I did from time to time there. But I saw these cookies, and I was like, I'm going to take one of these. I don't know why, and I did. I stole it. I don't remember where I put it, but I definitely stole it.
Oh man!
And then after I'd committed to stealing it, I'd already put it somewhere where it needed to be stolen. the steal spot. I don't remember where I put it, but I put it into a steal spot. I was checking out, and I looked over, and there were 2 police officers, and I was like, "Well, you've committed.
Oh, jeez. Well, Jared,
I can't
I'm glad
pull it out of the steal spot.
Right.
But they weren't paying attention, and it was fine.
Right. Oh man, I would hate to see you become a headline. Like black man beaten, like police brutality because
chocolate
of a
chip
cookie. Yeah, exactly.
that I could have bought. I was just bored.
Right? Oh man, that's hilarious. That is hilarious.
But yeah, no, I'm not I don't want to make it seem like I make a habit of shoplifting.
One thing that can be an issue too, though, Jared, is if you're drunk at a bar or a club and they got like some nice glasses. I know you and me both definitely had some sticky fingers at a couple places in Austria.
About 2 years ago, I did try to steal something from a bar. But first of all, they deserved it. I was going with my ex-lady friend, and I felt strongly disrespected because I'd mentioned that I had a reservation, which I did. And she's like, and she laughed. And I was like, no, I...
Oh, no.
And I was like, no, I do. Jared. And I was like, look. And she's like, oh. And then I had to wait for like 20, 30 minutes to get a spot.
Jesus.
So It was harmless. I was just, one of those long kitchen lighters. There was one on the table. I'm like, I'm going to take this. And it was winter, so I had like a big, like, sort of inside pocket.
Right.
But my ex, who's probably more like you would have been, told me not to and made me put it back.
Oh, I totally would have been a party pooper and said the same.
And I'm like, this has already been successfully done. But,
It's in the steel spot, as you would say.
Exactly. It's already in the steel spot. It's over. We're done.
Right.
And
Exactly.
then we're going to sit down and get a drink.
Dude, the funniest thing I think I ever saw went down when it comes to stealing was when I was still in grad school at MSU, so I was in East Lansing. The Taco Bell was always the hot spot around 2 a.m. because all the bars and clubs would close. And where do drunk people go? They go to I forget the name of the pizza spot, but there was a pizza spot. There was a Taco Bell. There were only like a couple places still open that late. Mm-hmm. And so the Taco Bell was always a prime time people watching location and just an overall shit show, right? This dude stole, and it was a dope picture. It was a picture of Spartan Stadium when the fans had worn like right colors where like it was green, white, like striped in the stands, Mm-hmm. I don't know how, but this dude somehow got this giant picture with a picture frame off the wall and somehow like put it in his coat and kind of like held his arm like to like stabilize it so it wouldn't drop and shatter, and walked out of that Taco Bell. After that, all the pictures they like screwed and bolted to the wall after that.
To the wall.
Basically, yeah.
See, that's a little far. I don't know if I'd go that far. I like the playing games with harmless shit.
Didn't you get like a street sign when we were in Austria? Am I remembering that correctly?
I've got a couple street signs. I did get one in Austria. I got one in Albion too.
We got
the meth watch.
One?
Yeah, they had like a neighborhood meth watch sign.
Yep,
that was fun. But there was one that was sort of just
all
on the
meth
grounds.
Dealers on that block were so happy you stole that sign, Jared.
Leave them alone. They're not hurting anybody. There's no meth watch. You're free meth makers or whatever. Because it's definitely not meth users. It's not like you see people hanging out on the street out there. So it's meth makers, I guess they're keeping a watch for.
Yep.
But the sign in Austria, it was kind of just laying around in like a construction-y kind of zone, and it was like a stop sign. The only thing is, it was like, I can't put this in my I can't take this home.
Right. It would be hilarious. You get to U.S. Customs, they open up your suitcase.
It has like an official sort of like tag on it. They're like, this is official government property, sir.
Right.
That you're trying to take back home.
For sure.
And I'm like, no, I bought this at a Austrian version of Spencer's.
So souvenir, this is like a Vienna souvenir shop.
Yeah.
To commemorate my time when I jaywalked and almost got a ticket for it.
Why does it say property of Vienna municipal services? I guess it wouldn't say that. However you say that in German, that's what it would say.
Don't ask me, Jared. That's beyond my German
how do you say municipal
right
services, Chad?
It'd be like probably like staatlicher Amt something. It'd be one word and it'd be like a 50-letter word if it's like German.
I thought of a or like a what is that German word the other day, and I forgot it. Man, damn it! It was a good one.
It'll come to you randomly in the podcast, so please just blurt it out once.
It will.
But yeah, all right, dude. Well, I could chat with you for hours, but let's get this going. Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable podcast. We are here today to do an edition we haven't done in forever, so I'm very excited. We are going to be doing a teacher edition. Trying to brush off the cobwebs from my teaching skills a little bit going into the summer semester, and we're going to talk about how you can reach all students. And don't fret, listeners, if you're not a teacher, I guarantee you there will be some transferable or relatable content in this episode, maybe about how you can relate better with your colleagues, with your friends, with your families, who knows, but today we will be focusing on how you can reach all students, and I am super excited to get my good buddy and my co-host's opinion on this, since he isn't a teacher, but he definitely has had a lot of experience in school and in college, and I'm also just curious to get what his thoughts and ideas are about this topic today. So without further ado, we are so happy to bring this episode your way, and I could not do this without my good buddy and my co-host, Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Chad, you got me excited. Hopefully by the end of this, I'll be able to better communicate with my family and friends. Maybe
that's always my goal for each of our podcasts, Jared. That's a side goal.
Like, I've had enough. I've now realized you're useless to my life. All I needed was Chad. That's hilarious. Sorry, you saw me smiling, I imagine. I was just laughing or holding back laughter at you talking about how like I have experience going to school, which is, just the fact that I essentially went to high school or finished high school and then a bachelor's. I have extensive knowledge as a learner, I'll say. Before we get into that, though, there are two things I kind of want to talk about, but I'll let you choose, and I know what you're probably going to choose. I think I've completely decided no longer ever going to fly in an airplane, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Or
that does not surprise me.
Or Fox News, they did an emoji drug decoding for parents.
What?
And this is hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me. I've never seen half of these things, and I'm like, these are drug terms. That's hilarious.
I want to hear both of these, Jared.
All right.
Give me both.
First of all, I'm done. I'm done with airplane flight. It's too dangerous.
You heard it here first, folks.
And by the way, first of all, I'm done with it because one of the things that happened last week, a man allegedly, he hasn't been convicted yet, masturbates 4 times on a 3-hour flight.
Didn't this dude say like it when like the police interrogated him? He was like, "Oh yeah, I told the lady next to me, and she said it was fine with it," or like something along those lines.
Oh, let's see. That's hilarious.
Because I read that too. There were all sorts of like funny memes. That is who does that though, Jared? Like 4 times on an airplane.
I mean, 4 times in 3 hours period is impressive. I mean,
Is this guy a high school student? Like,
yeah, he just discovered masturbation.
Right.
His first time discovering it was on that flight. Right. Phoenix police arrested a man over the weekend after he masturbated 4 times in front of a female passenger on a flight from Seattle, Washington, to Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix, Arizona. He now faces federal charges as well as a lifetime ban from one of America's best economy airlines. Antonio Sherrod McGarity.
Don't say his name. He doesn't need the recognition, or does he? I don't know.
What you think we're leading people to his YouTube channel, and he's becoming famous off of this?
There's going to be
that's his name. Let me type that in. Maybe he has got some great content for me to check out. He seems like a cool guy.
6 months down the road, there's a Netflix documentary about this guy.
I'm just reading the freaking
agent. Right? Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Was seated in the 11F on Southwest Airlines flight and began masturbating shortly after takeoff. The unnamed female passenger sat next to McGarity in 11E, took pictures as proof, as if being stuck in the middle seat wasn't torture enough. She told police he was at it for an hour before falling asleep. After he was all tuckered out.
Oh, well, that's why, Jared. He just, needed to get himself to sleep.
She took the opportunity to alert the flight crew and was immediately allowed to switch seats. The story comes to us via Daily Beast, blah, blah, blah. The complaint states that when Southwest Airlines flight landed, Phoenix police officers interviewed the woman who reiterated she had seen McGarity masturbating. I love how you think we're giving him some sort of positive publicity by saying his name. Oh, my God. On 4 separate occasions using both left and right hands. Ambidextrous.
I like how they have to specify that.
McGarity was also interviewed by FBI agents who allegedly admitted to his in-flight behavior. McGarity advised he asked a female witness if she minded if he masturbated. The complaint states, according to McGarity, the female witness put her hands in the air and said it really doesn't matter. McGarity thought the response was kind of kinky and believed the female was comfortable with his masturbating. The complaint adds, I don't think that still makes it okay for you to masturbate on an airplane, even if...
Of course not.
She was...
Also, though, why would you respond with that? It doesn't really matter. Like, I would be like, no, fuck no. Hell no.
I don't think it doesn't really matter is that... I don't know. I struggle. I guess I don't want to justify why I struggle to see how that would be kinky to him, because it's like, well, I'm getting into this guy's insane brain.
Dude, but, I think at that point, anything...
It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really seem like a strong affirmative to me.
Oh, it's definitely not. But someone who's crazy enough, Jared, to do that on an airplane anyways, probably doesn't need too much to think it's kinky.
No, that's true. That's true. There's probably things. A lot of things are kinky.
I'm sure
normal
the
daily interactions,
right? I'm sure the first thing that he thought of when like FBI were interviewing him was like, "Don't kink shame me."
Yeah, this is what's wrong with cancel culture. Here's the second reason why
Oh, that's great.
Here's the second reason why I'm done with airlines and done with flight. You know why I'm done with flight?
Why is that?
Because it's not even flight anymore. American Airlines restarts Philadelphia regional routes with landline buses.
What?
Did you hear what I just said?
Landline buses.
So American Airlines is the latest carrier to contract landline for contract. I said it contract like it's a disease. To contract, as in they signed a document. Jesus Christ! Now I confused myself. Let me start over. American Airlines is the latest carrier to contract landline for connecting flights, quote unquote, operated with buses. They're calling them connected flights. Get on this fucking bus.
And we're going to do a connected flight. Oh, man.
The move, and you know, that has been what's like people have been saying for the latest years, especially in the Spirit Frontier kind of boom, is that like we're just in buses for the sky. And American Airlines is just like, yeah, you're right. Let's
just make it happen.
Yeah, let's just make it a real bus. It's easier.
Right.
The move comes as U.S. Airlines, it's American Airlines. I don't know why they call them U.S. Airlines. Face the concurrent maybe multiple U.S. airlines face the concurrent challenges from a pilot shortage, primarily hitting regional operators and elevated fuel prices that together have forced many airlines to fly less than they would prefer. Landline, which is a bus, bus company that rents out their buses to other companies and whatnot for various things. Landline will connect American Airlines Philadelphia hub to Lehigh Valley Airport near Allentown and the airport in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I think that would make me mad.
Oh, I'd be furious.
I mean, I guess if I knew it was coming, then I would prepare for it and not do that. But if I want to take a plane trip, I want to take a plane trip.
Right. Can you imagine that? You're like, all right, where's the plane? And then a bus pulls up in front of you.
Oh, my God. Oh my God!
Yeah, here's your flight.
I'm like, I could do this,
right?
This is not an improvement. I could do this,
right?
Yeah. So those are just two further examples on why I think I'm just done with flying forever. I think I'm going to get me that whatever that Mercedes, what is Zeltos or whatever that insane 4x4 like off-roader
what was that
camper
thing
that
called?
was bigger than my house? Pretty sure it was the Zeltos. The Mercedes. There was the Unihome, which was the Unimog.
Unimog, yep.
But that's the Unimog is smaller than the Zeltos.
I think.
Zetros. Okay, I thought I said Zeltos.
Yeah, the ultra capable off-road truck, Mercedes-Benz Zetros. Yeah.
Which is like a luxurious, larger Unihome, which is just a Unimog with a little home thing on the back, which is for peasants essentially. I think I should invest in one of those. You might have been onto something with the van life. You might need to go back to that upgrade to a proper van.
Oh, for sure. Actually, dude, I'm excited. I'll be taking the van on a little trip to Traverse City in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah,
so busting it out again. Yeah,
very
for
exciting.
Sure. Well, tell me a little bit though, too, Jared, about this Fox News. You've got me. You've piqued my curiosity.
So I don't know if you plan on having kids anytime soon, but be careful. You know, they might look innocent. Their conversations, cookies, snowmen, boxes, parachutes, plugs, can be a code for a large batch of cocaine has arrived.
Really?
A school bus's code for. Oh, hold on.
Where does Fox get this information?
I don't. They really They're really blowing the lead quickly. I want to quiz you.
Okay. Ooh, so I'm excited.
If I were to if I were to text you, I'm trying to start easy, but you don't know this shit. Like you don't know any of this. So all of it is all right. So if I were to message you a P,
mm-hmm.
you know, there's the emojis where it's just like a outline where it's like blue or red or something, and there's a letter in white in there, and it's just a P.
Yep.
What would you think that might be?
I've seen that one on the internet, but I've wondered what that is.
Think about drugs that people are into these days.
PCP. Oh,
one of the most popular forms of drug in the United States?
P.
Not popular, I guess. One of the most devastating, I should say.
Is that heroin?
It's form of it. It's a form of it. Now think about the P. You're not a good drug person. This is good. This is good that you don't know these things.
That's true.
Percocet, which is another opiate.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Another thing for opiates would be a banana for whatever reason. I don't know
Really?
what that's about.
Okay.
Just a blue dot, maybe the pill's blue or something, or a pill that's yellow and red. Xanax, you could also be a same pill that's yellow and red. Okay. Or it could be a chocolate bar.
Oh, that would be a bar of Xannies.
Yeah, Xan
that
bars.
makes sense.
That's what the kids talk about, the Xan bars.
Okay.
Or a bus, which I mentioned before.
Is that because cocaine?
No, that's also Xanax. Maybe because it looks like a bar or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So if I do a pill, you should know this one. You should know this one. Not because you do it. But
I appreciate the disclaimer.
But because it's something that's a little bit more common for our age group. I'll put it that way. And it's not weed, which is just common for everyone.
Right.
It's the same sort of pill.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a bullet train emoji.
Is that? I feel like that's an Adderall or something.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Gets you going
That one
fast.
kind of makes sense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Speed.
And then they also have a rocket ship or a bomb or like a Batman-esque pow emoji.
Okay.
What do you think that means if someone puts that in there?
Is
Listen,
that
Chad.
like ketamine or something?
It's not a specific drug. That's not a specific drug. It's something about the drugs. If you see like a rocket ship.
Strong?
Yeah. High potency. There you go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, that makes especially the kapow. It knocks you on your ass. Makes sense.
Now, so I'm in the dealer signal. So what I just mentioned about the explosions, those are for dealers, and then there's plug. Obviously, everyone knows plug.
Yeah.
There's
Slang
money.
for a dealer.
There's money things. Here's one more that a dealer would say, and it's a cookie, just an emoji of a cookie. What would you think?
Cookie.
This is a
cookie. I don't know.
Maybe think a dozen cookies. Maybe think making cookies. If you make cookies.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, you're cooking, so it's meth.
No.
No. Okay.
It's a large batch.
Oh,
you want a lot of something.
A lot of something. Interesting, dude. I would have never known any of these.
Me neither.
These are so crazy.
Me neither. And then there's Oh, go ahead. Go. What were you about to say?
Where do people get these ideas? I mean, to some degree, I guess I get it, right? You want covert codes, so you don't want you don't
just want to be like, hey, can you give me some heroin?
Right.
I want a lot of
heroin.
Some
bars?
I want a lot of strong heroin and Xanax, and just type that out in a text message. And then here are some other. These are drugs. Snowflake, you should know.
That's cocaine.
Snow falling, snowman, diamond. Diamond is cocaine or meth, which makes sense.
Okay. I would think a diamond might be like crack, because it's more. Isn't that more like crystallized? I mean,
I guess it could be that too. It could be that too. That makes sense as well. I could see that.
I'm so curious. Who are Fox News' sources? Like, where are they getting this information
Their kids, I don't
from?
know. An 8-ball like an 8-ball like a
Tucker Carlson's son. He steals his cell phone.
Donald Trump Jr.
Why are there all these cookies on here and bananas and school buses?
An 8-ball like a
That's
what
cocaine.
you shake. Obviously, a key also cocaine.
Yep.
A puffer fish. Apparently, that's kind of what that looks like.
Weird. Okay.
Here, mushrooms obvious. Right. And then cough syrup is this is an interesting one. Is either grapes, which kind of makes sense because like the lean is like they mix with or a purple heart, or
that makes sense.
Now, or the third one they have is a baby bottle.
Really?
One of those old fashioned Rugrats baby bottles. Do they
for cough syrup for codeine?
Yeah. Is that how people do rappers drink out of baby bottles? I could kind of see that as a thing.
That would be hilarious. That would totally be like a trend started by some rappers for sure, dude. For sure.
And then
that's so crazy.
Weed is kind of obvious. There's like
like the little leaves or a maple leaf or some shit, right?
There's a palm tree. There's fire. There's the wind. There's like a wind emoji.
Oh, yep.
There's various leaves and trees. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
So that's it. I just thought those were funny.
Those are hilarious.
I've never seen these, even though this is for parents that are checking through their kids' phones, afraid.
Right.
I learned something too, and I found it hilarious.
we should do an episode on emojis.
We should. That would be a good one.
That would be a fun one, just because, and emojis, I think, cross-culturally mean something different. Like, when my Russian ex would send me a smiley face, it was literally just like a parentheses. And that was it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then, like, if you get, like, a sentence with, like, 2 parentheses, you know, it's like a big smile, right? But the first time she sent it to me, I'm like, did she forgot to close the parentheses? Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
You know, but
This isn't an emoji. This isn't an emoji, but when at my first out of college job, my coworker that was sort of training me, he was Mexican, and that's when I first learned about
The
Spanish
haha,
people.
the J-A-J-A?
yeah,
Yes.
ja, 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 or whatever. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
dude.
For the longest time, I was like, "What the hell is this? What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, I see."
Yep, they're saying ha ha
Yeah.
ha ha.
I don't know what that.
Right. That's funny. That's funny. Well, dude, I do want to give just a quick shout out and also an update, I guess, to some of our listeners out there who are like, did Untranslatable podcasts fall off the face of the earth? First and foremost, no, it was me that fell off the face of the earth. I was out of town in Texas for a wedding. First time in Tejas, which was really interesting. It was a cool place.
You've never been to Tejas before?
I haven't. That was the first time.
What city were you in?
We were outside of Fort Worth and Lake Worth, so Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Close to where I was born. I was born in Dallas. My
Really?
sister
I
was
didn't
born
know
in
that.
Fort Worth.
Okay, nice. But
You
dude,
probably
we had
did.
the
You
Texas
didn't know.
experience.
You didn't know you called me daddy for a full 6 months.
That's true.
What do you know?
That's true. Did I call you daddy or big daddy?
I think it was daddy.
Okay. Either way though, dude, it was
I
think
think
a great
one time I tried to be cool and called myself that, and you like in front of you guys, and you guys sort of laughed at me and turned it into my nickname, and then it went from me trying to be cool and call myself that to where every time I heard it, I like cringed.
Yeah, that's usually how nicknames work. Let's be honest, Jared. That's generally how they work. But anyways, so I was on the road again. Sadly, I didn't. Well, I brought my mic, Jared, but I realized I left my stupid audio interface back at my in my room. But anyways, Texas was awesome. I want to give a quick shout out to Annabelle, one of our first ever guests. I was there for her wedding. It was a beautiful ceremony, and I thought this might be a fun little segue into our untranslatables today, Jared. I just coincidentally at the dinner the day before the wedding ceremony, everyone who came, we all had dinner together in this podunk little town in Texas, and thankfully we found a restaurant that could accommodate like 20, 25 people. And this guy sits across from me. I've never seen this guy before. He has an accent. He's really thin, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm like, who is this guy? And then so I start talking to him, and he introduces himself. And lo and behold, Jared, guess where this dude was from?
Dusseldorf.
He was from Vienna.
Ah, okay.
And so we were like two peas in a pod. Once he said Vienna, I was like, where'd you live in Vienna? And he told me a couple places. And then I told him I lived in Ottakring. And he was like, oh my God, I've been trying to find an apartment in Ottakring. And then I asked him what his favorite Austrian beer was. And he said, my friends always give me shit for it, but Ottakringer, the beer from my former district, is his favorite beer. I mean, I kind of like it, but I prefer the Zwickel, not just their normal Helles, but their Zwickel, which is a little bit different. Anyways, so I asked him, though, we were speaking a little bit in German, but then we tried to keep it more in English because people around us didn't speak German.
Be inclusive.
Right. Exactly. Didn't want to be those assholes just going off on German but I could have, and I would have enjoyed every second of it.
I'm actually kind of surprised
Jim.
you didn't want to be that asshole.
Right. Although, we did later during the wedding, like after the wedding ceremony, after I had some drinks in me, dude. I realized though when I have a couple drinks and I start talking to an Austrian, the Austrian German and the Austrian slang starts coming out.
Oh yeah.
So I asked him though.
Annabelle
Jared,
is German, so were there German people around?
There were, and I had to do a lot of translating for my mom, which was fun.
Oh, I forgot she was there. That's right.
Yep. A little mother-son trip, which was also a lot of fun. But anyways, so Jared, I wanna ask you. Put you on the spot a little bit, but so I was talking to Gregor, this Austrian guy. So I guess shout out to Gregor as well. And
Greggy.
And so I asked him. I said, Gregor, what's your favorite like Austrian or Wienerisch like term or phrase? And I want you to guess. Or untranslatable. I dropped the ball again, Jared. But or untranslatable. So Jared, what do you think? What did he say is his favorite Austrian untranslatable?
Oida.
That's a good one. And Oida, folks, for those of you who don't speak Austrian German, it is the slang word for Alter, which is German for dude. But no, it is not Oida. It's a phrase. And this is definitely a phrase I used a lot when we were in Austria.
I don't know. What's the Austrians' version of alles in Butter?
Oh, that's a great phrase.
That's a German version of it. Though,
right.
What I just
well,
said.
that means like everything's going smoothly, right?
Yeah, but what's the Austrian
Yeah.
version? Theirs is something else. Alles in
Do
something.
they? Do
yeah,
they really?
a lot of
Okay.
There's
Yeah, I
alles
don't
in,
know that one.
I don't know what it is. Alles in
They
Butter
might just
is
say
a
Ois
German
and
one, though.
Butter, but yeah.
I don't think they do. Well, maybe they
might not.
do, but there
Right,
is one that
right.
I learned when I was there, but I can't.
Well, what's the Austrian phrase? What do you say, Jared, when you either like don't care or it doesn't matter to you?
Like egal, or
Well, that would be proper German. Es ist mir egal would be the
Yeah.
proper German term. But the Austrians say it is blank to me.
oh man, when you say it, I'm gonna be so annoyed.
Yeah, you're going to know it immediately. What's a super common food in Germany and Austria?
Wurst? Oh,
Yes.
das ist Wurst.
Mir wurscht.
Oh, mir
wurscht
wurscht.
would be
Oh,
would be
right.
the Austrian way to say
I do
that,
remember
right?
that,
Mir
yeah.
wurscht. And so we were joking around, and so we taught that phrase to a couple of the Americans there, and they loved it. Es ist mir Wurst would be like proper German, but mir wurscht, wurscht. You could just say wurscht, like it's sausage. Like do you want to
Das ist
get
mir wurscht. I forgot
exactly?
about that one.
Yeah. Do you want to? It would be like if we wanted to say, yeah, Jared, are you in the mood for like Italian tonight, or you want like a Philly cheesesteak? Mir wurscht. You know, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's sausage to me.
Yeah, it's
So
all sausage.
I thought that
to
was
me.
hilarious. I just wanted to share that little story, and that moment, Jared, is when it kind of hit me like right in the face about how easy it is to connect to people or connect with people when you speak a common language. Like, yeah, okay, sure, we both spoke English, but like being able to really relate to him on a deeper cultural level, and by talking to him about like Austrian phrases. And I said the phrase, "Schau mal, dann sehen wir schon," and he was cracking up. He was like, "Oh my!" And he was telling his girlfriend, he's like, "I'll butcher his accent," but he was like, "This dude knows his Austrian," you know. And of course, I
love
was
it.
flattered.
Oh,
Absolutely
Chad loves
flattered.
it.
I do.
That's
But
that.
anyways.
For everyone out there, that's the way to Chad's heart is complimenting.
That
his
is
girl.
true. That is true. Absolutely. Yeah. without a doubt. Without a doubt. For sure. Well, Jared, let's get into some more untranslatables. I don't know if you
right.
know what time it is by chance.
Oh yeah, no, I do.
But,
Hold on, let me. I gotta sort of wind my clock up, but it's auto.
At least you don't have a cuckoo clock where you have to like pull the like strings and stuff. You know what I mean?
There's
But
cuckoo
yeah,
clocks where you have to pull strings.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The ones at my parents' house, which are legit German cuckoo clocks. So you have to like pull these strings
To
It's like
change
this
the
whole
time, you
thing.
mean?
I think it's to just get the cuckoo thing to work properly.
Oh, what's the
I
point?
don't know. I'm
I
not
thought the cuckoo was supposed to kook on its own. Cuckoo
well,
on its own.
You never
the
know.
cuckoo
Anyways,
was supposed to cuckoo on its own.
well, sometimes it doesn't.
That's interesting.
anyways.
Same word, but depending on where you put the emphasis, it depends on what it means.
Emphasis.
The cuckoo needed to cuckoo.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. English is weird like that. Well, it was like you were saying contract and contract, right?
Exactly.
you know,
yeah. The way
English
I said it
is-
made it seem like someone got an
right?
STD.
Produce produce, you know? Yeah, it's just weird. Anyways, untranslatables are idioms, proverbs, sayings, axioms that don't always translate on a one-to-one basis into English. And we are your certified. I still don't understand how we don't have an honorary doctorate yet from like
Yeah, hit us up, colleges. We're open to it.
exactly. Where's our
Don't be
honorary
shy.
doctorate for Doktortitel for our untranslatable skills? And we are here to decipher these untranslatables for your listening pleasure. And do you want to get us started today, Jared? Sorry, I get you
Chad.
right as you're about to take a sip of your tea.
Sure. My first untranslatable is Peruvian Spanish, Peruvian Espanol. Well, both of mine are. Hacamos una chancha.
What is that? Chancha. I like that already.
I don't know, but it's to make a pig.
So it's probably chancha is pig.
Okay, well,
Be
there
my
you go.
guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because una chancha, right?
Yeah,
A pig.
you're right. All right.
To
There you
make
go.
a pig. Is it to have a party? Go crazy?
Wow. No. But
Oh, dude, you had me fooled.
but
Hook,
that's a
line,
good
and
start.
sinker.
It's a good
Okay.
start.
Okay. Is it to get drunk?
Still, you're on the right track, but
Okay.
it's specifically a group of people. So it's like that's like, hey, let's be efficient with our time/money and make a pig.
Oh, it's to pitch in.
Yeah, there you go. Everyone
Okay.
pitches in.
I like that. Yeah, everybody pitches in.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Instead of
that's a
everyone
good one.
buying their own fifth, if we put our own money together, we can get half gallons or whatever.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, that's not college thought. I was gonna say it is, but it's not really. It wasn't for me.
Right, for sure. Well, my untranslatables for you today are Japanese, and my first one is harahachi buni isha irazu, which literally it means if the stomach is at 80%, you won't need a doctor.
I mean, at least do the bare minimums to stay in shape.
Not quite. So let me help you out with this a little bit, Jared. This idiom arises from a Japanese cultural and historical assumption that basically you should only eat until your stomach is 80% full.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that.
A lot of Americans could listen to that advice, myself included sometimes.
There's a podcast I listen to, and the co-host gets annoyed at the other person because he has the ability to like put down a bag of chips. Like if he's finished with his like sandwich, but not with the bag of chips, he'd be like, well, I'm done with that bag of chips. And she's like, I don't understand the self-control. It's so confusing to me, and it makes me angry.
Right.
And I get that too. I'm like that too. I'm not a big eater. Like I don't overeat a lot, but I would struggle to not finish that bag of chips. I'll tell you that much.
Sure. Well, so take that example though, Jared. So what does that example that you just gave kind of mean? You should be doing everything
to practice self-control.
Yes, which means to do everything in
moderation.
There you go. Yep, that's exactly what this means. Basically, if you're able to abide by this principle, so 80% of your stomach is full or not eating the bag of chips, then you're mostly full instead of completely stuffed, you won't need to see a doctor often because you'll stay healthy, right? This just means do things in moderation, but I love that. The stomach is at 80%, you won't need a doctor.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I think that's better than apple a day keeps the doctor away.
I agree.
My next untranslatable is also Peruvian Espanol, and it's lo de elos fue choque y fuga, which is a long way of saying hit and run.
Hit and run. So that's what that means. Hit and run.
No, that's what it literally means.
Oh, literally.
That's not the meaning of it, but that's the literal translation of what I just said.
Hit and run. Is that to hit it and quit it?
Oh, yeah, very good.
Is it really?
One night stand.
Okay, to shoot and scoot?
One night stand.
Okay.
Now I'm getting into my emphasis all of a sudden.
Emphasis? There you go. Okay.
One night stand.
Okay. That's I like that. Okay.
A hit and run.
A hit and run. I mean, that's kind of what it is, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. All right, my last one for you today, Jared, is also Japanese, and it is asa meshi me, before breakfast.
Is that
for breakfast?
Is that to make sure you are mindful, stay mindful even before breakfast? First thing you do when you wake up?
Nope, not at all.
Is that to wake up super early?
No. Let me give you a clue. Jared, I was working on this big data set for work. I finished almost everything, and that last one, it was before breakfast.
Is that to procrastinate?
No. No. That was a bad example on my part. I'm trying to think of an example without giving it away. That's always the tricky part with these untranslatable. Let's see here. Well, let me ask you this, Jared. When you have something to do, if you were to do it before breakfast, is that something that will probably take you a long time or a short time?
Short time. So you're like half-assing it? Half-assing the final
So this
parts?
has nothing to do with the level of effort well, I guess it has to do with level of effort, but not the quality of outcome. Let me put it that way. For us, our untranslatable, Jared, has to do with a food, a sweet food.
Piece of cake.
Very good. Exactly.
Got it.
So it was so good. It was so easy that I just did it right before breakfast. Like I woke up, got it done in 2 minutes, boom, over. Check it off the list before breakfast.
I gotcha. Okay.
I like that. I wonder if that means that a lot of Japanese people are morning people. Or maybe they're not. I don't know. But I like that one, before breakfast. That's a good one. So yeah, actually, you know what, Jared? Let me give you one bonus untranslatable. I got one more Japanese one that I think is kind of a cool one. This one is Anzuri yori umi ga yasushi, which means it's easier to bear a child than worry about it.
Yeah, that's true. Wear a condom, is that what that means? I don't know.
No, not quite. But well, think about it. So it's easier to bear a child than to worry about it. What do a lot of folks do, Jared? What do I do all the time?
It's easier to like get yourself into a situation than it is to get yourself out of a situation.
I like that a lot, and it has a great ring to it, but no.
Okay. Well, that's my untranslatable. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Jared, what is something that I do? I'm trying to do a lot less of, but something that I do a lot.
I don't know. Am I supposed to? Is this some sort of fault of yours that I'm supposed to be aware of?
It's. I consider it a fault.
What do you do? I don't know. You talk a lot.
I do talk a lot.
Is that what you're talking about?
No. This one means it's easier to bear a child than to worry about it. Folks tend to, sometimes we spend so much time and energy worrying about something, it would just be easier to just do it, right? So I think this example here, obviously bearing a child is incredibly difficult, right? Well, I've never given birth before, but from what I've heard from the ladies I know who have kids, it's pretty damn hard. And so if you think about it as, some people, I think we live in imagination land or worry land for so long. If we would have just done the thing, instead of worrying about it, it's, sometimes it's easier to just do the thing than spend all this time worrying about it. So that is what that means.
All right.
So, yeah. Well, Jared, let's go ahead and switch to our topic now of the episode, which is how to reach all or at least more students. I'm curious, do you have any kind of questions, comments, or, talking points before I talk your and our listeners' ears off?
Go for it, Chad, please. You're the professional.
All right.
I'll say my tips for reaching students are songs. Leather jackets.
Of course, leather jackets.
Flipping the chair backwards and sitting in it with your legs facing the other side.
That's a good one.
That's
a good one.
Swearing. Kids love watching adults swear.
Did you hear about the professor? I think he was either at Central Michigan or Ferris State or somewhere, where he put out a video on his course, Canvas or somewhere, a learner management system, and it was just profanity laden. There were all these swear words, and the dude got I don't know if he got fired, but I know he got and or put on leave.
Wow.
So if you're gonna swear, don't do it in a recorded video.
Yeah, I guess not. Don't do that. And then two more. Smoke cigarettes and let the kids call you by your first name.
The first name can be a good one. However, that one doesn't work, obviously, in high schools, middle school. At least I don't think they usually do that. And I don't know about you, but I've seen teachers from that I went to high school with, and then when I see them in person, I still refer to them as Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so.
Sure.
It feels
most of my
weird.
teachers don't even know their first name.
Right?
We did have one teacher. Well, I don't know. I'm saying this. I don't know if she actually let us call her this or not, so never mind.
Okay.
Well, people did call her by her first name, but I don't. Maybe not in her classroom. No, I don't know. But maybe that's just what we called her. But why is it that we called her that? Because her name was Miss Zelinsky. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I didn't even put. But everyone called her Betty Z.
That's kind of a cool nickname, though.
But I don't know if we called her that to her face or not.
Sure. Probably not. Not.
We might have. I don't know. She was pretty cool.
Right.
But
Sure.
But I don't remember if she let us call her that or not. Maybe it was an in-school, out-of-school thing. During school hours, call me by my school name.
Right.
Outside of school hours, you can call me whatever you want me.
I love that, Jared. Call me by my school name.
School
you have this
name.
alter ego or alter identity when you step foot in school.
Have you seen / do you enjoy the videos of high school students calling their teachers by first names?
The reactions of the teachers are funny. I will say that.
It sort of annoys me when the teachers get all mad about it. It's relax. It's
Right.
It's not that big.
Right.
Some teachers get "Hi, Mrs. Williams."
Right.
It's like, all right,
well,
relax.
see that right there, though, I think is a great point, Jared, on how to relate to your students better. Is if you do kind of react in a negative way, I think it's better to react in, kind of joke along with it, laugh with your students.
Yeah.
Do
it. Say that again, and I'll kill you.
I'm glad you're not a teacher, Jared. I'm just going to say that right now. But no, first of all, Jared, I guess I want to, unpeel the onion a little bit further before I get into some of my tips.
I prefer unpeel the parfait, but go ahead.
Okay, well, we can do that too. And unpeeling this parfait, I think the question really is, Jared, why is this even important? Like, why is it important to reach all of your students, right? Some people are of the opinion it's like, well, it's the students' education. They should be the ones who are taking it upon themselves to learn and study and blah, blah, blah. Well, I think really it's super important to reach all of your students in some way to, number one, make it so that they actually have a positive time in school, because school for some people can be a really difficult time. And by having some of those teachers who relate to their students, I think can make such a big impact that some teachers themselves don't even always realize. I also think it's really crucial when it comes to reaching all of your students. It's a great way for you to build rapport. Your classes tend to go a lot better. I mean, I will say, not to toot my own horn too much, Jared, but I do think one of my strong suits as a teacher is being able to reach my students and relate to my students. And a lot of that comes from having engaging classes, really thinking about and being very intentional of how you design the activities, the games you play, the way you address your students. And even, I know you were kind of joking to some degree, but probably also not joking about having students call you by your first name. Mm-hmm. I do think that can be a very quick and easy way to do that. But I just think reaching your students, it's really important.
You don't think they lose respect for you as an adult?
I don't
teacher?
think so. I don't think so.
I think Chad.
I think it all depends
That's
on
Mr.
how.
Chad to you.
That's right. That's right. Really, Jared, I think when students, it all depends. If you foster an environment where a lot of times, I think if you're respectful of your students, not always, but you do tend to get that respect back. And I'm a big fan as well of teachers. Teachers need to lead by example. You can't just expect students to act a certain way if you don't act like that with your students. But one of the reasons why I wanted to do this topic today, Jared, is because I think a lot of folks have been struggling the last 2 years with the pandemic and, doing fully virtual classes. Some teachers just don't have the skill set to even just teach online, let alone find ways to create community and engagement in their courses. Even though a lot of places are going back into in-person classes, I still think, after having these 2 years of kind of isolation and just people not being used to and kind of not being so accustomed to actually sitting back in a classroom with a bunch of people, it's really important to reach students. And the other reason why I think this topic is important is, especially in the U.S., we have a lot of diverse students, right? I see this a lot where I'm working currently. And the thing is that being able to reach students, I think, is another way to give those students a voice, give them, kind of uplift them, empower them in the classroom. And so, it's really important. As you mentioned, songs can be a great way. I would take it one step further to also mention, also pop culture references, right? Like I was talking to a professor last week, Jared, and she even talked about what... Dude, there was this viral thing on either Facebook or Instagram where this teacher, I think it was like a sociology professor somewhere, had an Excel file with slang terms their students use in an alphabetical order. And yeet was on there, lit was on there, fam was on there,
Cap.
ACAB was on there. Yep, cap was on there. Stop the cap.
Kids are talking about a cab in high school.
Well, it was a sociology professor.
Oh, I see.
So this was college. This was college.
Oh, that makes sense.
But, yeah. But I'm curious, though, Jared, I did mention you have extensive schooling experience at the top of the show. Mm-hmm. What were some things that, your teachers did looking back to really kind of not only get you interested and engaged in the lessons, but also your peers?
The couple occasions in elementary school, during, say, Black History Month, they'd ask me for my opinion on things. That would be awful.
I was just gonna say, yeah, wouldn't that be the opposite of reaching?
Yeah, no,
your
I'm kidding. That was
like,
terrible. I was like, oh god, no, I gotta.
Yeah, then you're the token black guy.
I gotta give my opinion on this. I don't know.
You have to speak for the whole black race and
MLK
black
is
community.
good.
Yeah.
Please leave me alone. No.
That's a way to not reach your students right there, is to put them on the spot, especially if they are of a certain race, religion, creed, whatever.
Yeah. How did I feel seen as a student? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I feel like
let me ask you this, Jared. Were you ever given the opportunity to do a presentation or a project about something that you were really passionate about?
Yes, but I don't think I don't know if I was at a point where I was able to identify my passion. I don't know. I don't know if I'm.
Not even in college?
Definitely not in college. No, I didn't do anything that I was super passionate about in college. Not that I. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, because I am a firm believer that like doing things like project-based learning, which is kind of a big buzzword, but basically in a nutshell, it means that you design your class so the kind of culmination of your class ends with some final kind of project or product. And I do think that can be a way where you can really reach students, because if you set it up with enough flexibility, and by the way, flexibility is another really important aspect of reaching all of your students as well. If you're teaching the same way all the time, you're only going to reach certain students. But anyways, project-based learning, I think, can be a great way, to really learn about students, learn what they're interested in. You could also do, depending on the class, it could be also about, students' culture. I know I just said like a minute ago not to put students on the spot, like the example you gave about your teacher asking to talk about Black History Month.
We had and when also in elementary school, we had every year we had something called Bon Voyage. And which is actually a pretty clever name. It's not a bad name for once I tell you what it is. And we would have a bunch of different sort of booths set up throughout our elementary school hallways, elementary school / middle school, but I was in elementary school at the time. It would be orchestrated by teachers / parents, so parents and stuff would be involved. And, there would be booths from different countries, and there would be samples of food from that country, and they teach you some sort of like little fun facts about the culture. That was fun.
That sounds awesome.
That
fun. Sounds awesome.
And you get good food out of it, and then they give you some sort of, little fun facts and shit, or some sort of takeaway thing for you to take with you. That was memorable as a thing to do, and I thought that was great. A great way to shed light on a whole bunch of different cultures. That was cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that sounds amazing.
And that was pre-Germany days, so I feel like back then I was still more like culturally ignorant than I am now. Sure. I mean, obviously I was freaking 8 or whatever.
Well, right. Yeah. How much cultural knowledge can you have at that age? Well, I like that you have high expectations and standards for yourself, Jared.
What an idiot I was.
Right. But no, I agree with you. Offering the opportunity for exploration. Also, one thing I think that you want to instill in students when you can is make them curious. I think regardless of your students' backgrounds, curiosity can be a great way to learn together. I'm trying to not make this episode too like hippy dippy and woo woo, but I do think that, learning together, having your students be curious, having a space in your classroom where students can ask questions, regardless of how in-depth or philosophical or quote-unquote stupid those questions may be. I think by having your students be curious, it can be a way to just reach a more broader audience and not just certain students. So I think that's one thing that's really, really important in order to reach students. Another thing, as you mentioned, though, too, I want to go back to that songs example. I think just having the opportunity to discuss different, whether it's current events, pop culture stuff, or even stuff like one thing that I've been trying really hard in my German class, Jared, because I have students age 18 to like 65. So it's really difficult for me to find things. Well, not relate. I don't think that's been the issue. It's just finding things that everybody can talk about. So what I've been doing a lot is playing all sorts of different music. And believe it or not, Jared, my a couple of my students who are my older students, they've been loving the German rap and hip hop. I played some Peter Fox and some Seed. Everybody got down with some Seed. Check them out, folks, if you're curious about learning German. But yeah.
3 E's. In those situations, do you get nervous that no one's going to like it and you're going to look like a fool?
I don't, because I don't attach any of my own kind of personal... For me, it's I truly do look at it as a learning experience, and if they don't like the song for whatever reason, we're still doing it so they can learn some new German vocabulary.
It's not really about them liking the song. It's about them recognizing words from the song or whatever.
And if they like it, that's just kind of an added bonus.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Exactly. I think another way to be able to relate and reach more students, and I actually got this. I did like a mid-semester evaluation, like a survey with my students. And one thing I got from numerous students was we loved the stories that Herr Bowsley tells us in class. And so I think storytelling can be a really powerful way to reach other people. And then with some of the stories, I have a few students who have been to Germany. I have a few students who have family members who are German. So then I can pull them into the stories and be like, how was this when you were in Germany? Or like I think I told them a story about, it was probably you and I when we got like a Döner at like 2 or 3 in the morning after bar hopping in Germany or Austria, and just how like amazing, Döner can be when we did our lesson about food. And so having stories, but also having the opportunity for your students to tell their own stories, I think can be a great way where you can reach more students. And as a teacher, there's a lot of benefits to it as well, right? You get to learn more about your students. You get to learn more about just other things in the world, which at least I myself love that in my classes, when I can learn from my students and learn new things. And also it gives you an opportunity to find other ways where you can relate with them even further down the road, right? If this student is really into hip hop music, then it's like, okay, let me find some more German rap that we can listen to and we can kind of talk about. So I think stories can be a really powerful way to reach a lot of different people, because at the end of the day, we all have stories. What blows my mind, Jared, is if you like walk somewhere and just look around at all the people and think about how every individual person has so many different stories and experiences. And that can be a really, really good way, not only in the classroom, but a way to relate to folks outside the classroom as well, even in like a work setting, for example. Another thing I think, Jared, that's really important to reach all of your students, and I struggle with this, believe it or not, more than you might think, Jared, because I do tend to wear my heart on my sleeve, but being
Falling
vulnerable,
in love with your students?
No, that is a hard line I draw. I've never dated any students of mine. Really being able to be transparent and vulnerable, and also when you make mistakes, own up to them. Because I think when you own up to your mistakes, like for example, I had a module in my online course. I made the module available, but the assignments, I thought once I made the module available, everything would be available for my students. And then much to my surprise, Jared, I go into the classroom, go into my virtual classroom, right? My Zoom meeting. And one of my students says, yeah, I can't see any of the assignments. I was like, oh no, what do you mean you can't see any of the assignments? And so, I had to take a moment and be like, look, students, I'm really sorry. Obviously, you all will get an extension on these assignments because they weren't available.
Obviously, you've all failed.
Exactly. You all get a 0 for this week, and now it's going to drop your grade, 1-letter grade. But yeah, so I think owning up to your own mistakes, and we're all human, right? So I think doing that also allows your students to see, oh, wow, my teacher made a mistake. I can come to them when I make mistakes. Because I think when you try to have this facade of perfection, it doesn't do anybody any favors. It doesn't help your students. It's not a realistic representation of yourself. So yeah, I think that can be really, really important as well, just to reach more students. What are some other ways though, Jared, sorry to put you on the spot again, but what are some other ways that you might think students could be more seen, more heard in the classroom?
I like movies. That's a good one. I think that can be very relatable. Especially like if you're learning a language, I think that's a great way to make it relatable. Like watching like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a movie that I've seen 1,000 times, and then like seeing Ferris Bueller Macht Blau and being like, oh, I can put this together because I essentially quoted on mute already. So I think movies is a great way to do it. That works good for me. And
Right.
once again, I like the idea of like sneaking education into fun stuff.
Yes.
So that's why I
Big
like
time.
that's why I
Big
like
time.
movies. I think a good way is group stuff. Group stuff is good, even though it
Yes,
sucks.
collaboration, absolutely. Well, and the nice thing about collaboration and group work as well, Jared, is then students also get to hear other perspectives, right? So they get to hear about their classmates' different experiences and perspectives. And then I don't think students feel that they are as put on the spot because they're talking with their peers. And then you might regroup as a class and discuss what everyone talked about or something like that. But
also
I think
it's-
group work.
Group work is the most realistic. Like that's the most realistic way work happens most
Yes.
of the times in
Big time.
in offices and stuff like that. Is
Yeah.
essentially group work. No one does the whole thing by themselves on anything in most companies.
Right. And if you're doing everything by yourself, you're either running a very lean startup or
Yeah.
or
Take a
you're not
break.
very likable and people don't want to work with you. But yeah, I do want to mention though something as well, Jared, that you mentioned about movies, which I think movies, songs, even readings or books, it's really important. And we've done an episode about this actually, about multiple representations, right? So if all of your movies are only starring white folks, you may want to consider having some movies with some just other cultures and other representations, right? Because I think that can be really powerful for your students. If you're only reading literature written by dead white guys, you may want to look around and see what else is out there for your students to read.
That was you're talking about my whole childhood. I feel attacked. I guess I'm not the one being attacked. My teachers feel attacked.
Right. But I do think that's really, really important. And a lot of teachers, I think most teachers have very good intentions, but I think that if you really take a step back and take a look at your own classrooms and the, kind of breakdown of your students and their own identities, that needs to be taken into consideration if you want to reach them at a deeper level. I
What
think
if you
that's
don't want to reach them at a deeper level? I think there are a lot of people that are like, I don't need to reach them at a deeper level. I just need to teach them algebra.
Yeah. Well, then, there are certainly
Is that
teachers
okay?
like that. To some degree, I guess. Sure. I mean, not all of your classes are going to be these amazing, oh, I love this teacher and I love this class.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, if you want the material to stick with your students longer, that deeper relation, that making things more relatable or more fun, like you said, sneaking in learning and fun activities, that's really, I think, where a lot of the longer term learning happens, right? I mean, you mentioned the bon voyage and you were, what, in middle school?
Yeah, elementary
Or
school.
younger, right?
Yeah.
Elementary school. And see, look how long that stuck with you. Another thing, though, too, Jared, that I think is really important to reach all of your students is and this is easier said than done, but you need to show them trust. Show them that you have trust in their abilities, in their work, in their participation. That can be really important because when you give your students an opportunity to, for example, lead a class or lead a discussion, or even just be like a group leader for something, I think that empowers students, that gives them the thought of, oh, wow, my teacher is giving me the responsibility and trust me enough where I can do this. And, for some kids, that may be the first time in their lives where something like that has happened. So I think that's really, really important. And then another thing, and I think this will be my last one today, because I could go on for hours and hours on this topic, but my last one for today, Jared, is also encouragement. I think so many teachers don't realize how much words of encouragement can mean to students. I'll never forget, Jared, when I was teaching in China, you had this white American dude in this Chinese class, in this English class with all Chinese students. And many of my students told me I was the first teacher. These were juniors in college, Jared. They were about to finish their degree and potentially even their education if they don't go on to grad school, right? And I had numerous students come up to me and say, it meant so much to me that you encouraged me. And you were the first teacher that I had that ever really encouraged me. And when I say encourage your students, I mean, sure, you can do the base level, good job, nice work. But I really try, just like I do with gift giving, Jared, I really try and strive for more, just deeper ways to encourage your students.
How's your mother doing? Take this roast home. Tell your grandmother I'll send the money next week, I promise.
Are you a mafia boss, Jared? What is that accent?
That's what you're making it seem like. Like I need to care for these these people's entire well-being is in my hands, and I am here to nurture them.
I wouldn't go that far, but there is some truth to that statement, Jared. There really is. I mean, just telling your students, I really liked the amount of detail that you put into your lesson plan, for example. Something like that. It's not difficult to say. It's not difficult to do. And for a lot of students, I think that just adds this level of, wow, my teacher sees my hard work, they recognize it, and they appreciate it. It's like that viral, I don't know if it was a TikTok video or what it is, but there was that woman who had that video where she's like, I just want to be appreciated. It's kind of true. It's simple, but it's true.
Sure. Yeah, people need that. Validation is key.
Exactly. Well, Jared, unless you have any other tips or tricks about reaching all of your students, I
covered mine early. I hit my strong list.
You did. What was it? Smoke cigarettes in class.
That was one of them.
Definitely turn around in the seat. That's definitely a good one. That's definitely the cool college professor move right there.
I also said leather jacket.
Yep, leather jacket's good. Rock some aviators. Are aviators still in style, or am I sounding like an old man right now?
Yeah, I mean, if you're Biden, I guess.
Okay, so maybe
They're
not
probably
aviators.
cool.
Maybe some Ray-Bans. Maybe the Ray-Bans or some.
I mean, aviators
Oakleys.
are Ray-Bans, first of all.
Oh, are they
original
really?
aviators, I'm pretty sure, are from the brand Ray-Ban.
Okay. Well, yeah. Don't listen to me for fashion tips, folks.
When you say Ray-Bans, what do you even mean? Because that's a brand. They make all sorts
I think of not the aviators, but the other. I don't even know what they're called. But they're Ray-Bans.
You mean like the ones I have that I wear all the time?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, those are, I believe they're called Wayfarers.
There we
those
go.
are called.
Okay.
An aviator is another Ray-Ban product.
Okay, interesting. But yeah. Anyways, let us know what other ways you know of to reach all of your students at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. You can check us out on Instagram and YouTube, Untranslatable Podcast. Check us out on Twitter and slide into those DMs, Untranslatable1, the number 1. And please, 5-star reviews on iTunes. Let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Dziękujemy, muchas gracias, Shisha, and auf Wiedersehen.